Professional wrestling fans seem to catch on to every little nuance of the art form. There's only one thing, though, that professional wrestling fans love more than professional wrestling, and that's proving that they know more about professional wrestling than you. That's right, this is essentially a YouTube edition of a comment section under a Roman Reigns tweet. This is You Mark. Tonight's contestants are Jesse.
I am Mike's favorite guest on this show. I'm his favorite competitor. I'm the one who brings in the ratings. That's me.
All right, and we have Mike.
Hi, hello, good night, Hulkamaniacs and Jabroni Masters out of life. Don't know a work when you work and you should work yourself into a shoot, brothers.
And Steven.
Once again, you are frozen. But so is my knowledge on wrestling facts.
For those who are new to the show, I'll be reading a statement about the world of professional wrestling. Somewhere in that statement is an inaccuracy or something I have put in there that is incorrect. Your mission to buzz in and correctly identify that error. The only real rule is, to have your answer counted, you must first say the phrase, "You mark." For each correct response, you'll be awarded 1 point in the form of a pinfall. And as always, this is contested under Iron Man rules, and the contestant with the most pinfalls at the end will be our winner. All right, on to our first question. Since its inception in 1988, the winner of the Royal Rumble has gone on to challenge for a match of their choosing at WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble is the brainchild of Pat Patterson, and 30 years after the first men's Royal Rumble in 2018, the women's WWE division had the... Steven's buzzed in. Steven?
You marked the women's Royal Rumble started in 2019.
That is incorrect. It did, in fact, start in 2018 from what I found.
Ooh.
Oh. All right, let's hear
Can you
the
read it again? Yeah.
All right, let's do it again. Now, Steven, you can buzz in again after I reread. Since its inception in 1988, the winner of the Royal Rumble has gone on to challenge for a match of their choosing at WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble is the brainchild... Mike's buzzed in.
You mark, that was not the case from the start. They didn't get to choose... I don't believe the first few winners or first winner even got to challenge for a match at WrestleMania of their choosing.
That is correct. Yes, not since the beginning. That's what we become accustomed to is the Royal Rumble, meaning that you are going to main event WrestleMania. But in the beginning, it was not. Also, there has been several instances where the Royal Rumble was actually just for the title, like in 2016 when Triple H won it.
92, Ric Flair went post to post.
That's right.
That's right. You know what? I totally forgot that because Jim Duggan actually was the winner of the first Royal Rumble.
Yeah. It was only 20 minutes. Too.
Very good. On to our next question. Though they are now more commonly associated with All Elite Wrestling, the Young Bucks have worked for many other promotions. One such promotion, Total Nonstop Action, aka TNA, they performed under the names Max and Jeremy Buck. Together, they were known as America's Most Wanted. Jesse's buzzed in.
You mark, it was Generation Me.
That is correct. It was, in fact, Generation Me. Does anyone remember who America's Most Wanted was?
James Storm and the other one who went to Chris Harris, the one that went to WWE and got super fat. He walked out like on the very first like on ECW on Sci-Fi. And he walked out and he put his hands on his hips and he just went. And then that set the tone for Chris Harris's run in WWE. Just about 20, 30 pounds heavier, like thicker than when he left TNA. Just came out and went,
I hope that you all are fans of 1990s television. Let's move on to our next question. In an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Sabrina takes part in an other realm wedding. During the ceremony, we learn she must wrestle the father of the bride, who is none other than Billy Gunn. In the finish of the match, we see Sabrina hit a code red off a distraction from a talking cat named Salem. Mike has buzzed in.
You mark, she didn't hit a code red.
That is correct, but there's a slightly more correct answer. Do you want to tell me how she won? And if you can't, I am going to open it up to your competitors to take a guess so they can scoop you.
I don't think it was a wrestling move. I think she used magic.
That is incorrect. She does, in fact, use a wrestling move. Jesse has buzzed in. Jesse?
You mark, she wins that wrestling match, that quote-unquote wrestling match using a leg drop?
While that would be tremendous, she does not use a leg drop to win.
I didn't watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Okay, I'm guessing.
And
you're missing out.
You mark, she wins with a suplex.
Oh no, very good, nice guess. She in fact wins with a roll-up. So Mike is going to take the point there.
Who let the Sabrina writers write wrestling these days? Like between 2016 and 2019, because there were a lot of roll-up pinups then, like WWE TV for like a hot minute there.
Now it's time for our first brass ring question of the night. The brass ring is a mini game that requires a little more effort, but in the end, it's still worth the same as a normal question. 1 point. I'll owe you one, and that one is 1 point. This game is entitled That's Gotta Be Kane. I have a name of a random wrestler here. Your goal is to guess the name of that wrestler. One by one, we'll go down the line, and you'll have an opportunity to ask a yes or no question. After I have given my answer to the question, contestants may buzz in to try to identify that wrestler. Be careful, though, as making an incorrect guess, there will be a penalty of sitting out the next question. I'll roll a dice to determine who we start with. We're going to start with Jesse. Jesse, what's your question?
Is this wrestler a man or a woman?
It's got to be a yes or no question. You have burned your first question. Mike, we're on to you.
Does this person have tattoos?
Yes, they do have tattoos. Steven, let's go to you as there's no guesses.
Has this wrestler been active in wrestling within the last 3 years?
Yes, they have been active in the last 3 years. Jesse?
Is this wrestler in AEW?
No. Mike?
Is this wrestler in WWE?
Yes. Steven?
Has this wrestler ever held a title?
Yes. Jesse, your question.
Have they been a WWE Universal Champion or a World Heavyweight Champion before in their career?
They have not. Mike?
Have they won a Royal Rumble?
They have not. Steven?
Did this person win the Intercontinental title?
They have not. Jesse, you're up.
Is the wrestler currently in a tag team?
No.
Is the wrestler on SmackDown?
They are not. Steven?
Has this person United States Championship?
They have not won the United States Championship.
That's gotta be Kane.
Jesse, your question?
Has the wrestler at any point been an MMA fighter?
That's a no. And if they have, it's not what they're known for.
Okay.
Am I American?
Yes, American. Steven?
Is he black?
No.
Listen, I feel like it's a valid question to ask if the wrestler's white, black, Mexican, Asian, whatever, because that now has cut out about 30 to 40% of WWE's Monday Night Raw roster.
No, I agree. I was just laughing because it just reminded me of Hulk Hogan.
Jesse's buzzed in. Jesse, you want to buzz in before your question?
The Revival.
No, it is not them. Now you may ask a question. All right, so let me do this. Let's open this up a little bit more. You guys aren't even on the right gender.
Just it's every one of us.
Got you. You guys are being reductive. I got you. Well, Steven specifically said black man, so I was like, oh, well.
It's not Stephen Blackman? Damn.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, you're up. Your question?
Okay, American tattoo. What's her name? Can I ask? Can I have a guess?
You can have a guess, but you can also ask a question, then have a guess as long as you buzz in first. But it's up to you.
Okay, I'll have a guess. Is it Indy Hartwell?
It is not Indy Hartwell. You do still have your question.
Okay. Have I won the women's tag team champion? Have I held a women's tag team champion?
Yes, they have held the women's tag team championship.
That narrows it down by not a lot, because those belts have been hot potatoed by every woman in that company at this point.
They have,
except for that period of time where it was dropped off at Triple H's desk.
Yeah, and it just. Is it Triple H? Is it Triple H?
Hold on, we do have before your guest, Jesse has buzzed in.
I'll take a guess. Mark, is it Shayna Baszler?
It is not Shayna Baszler. Steven, your question.
Is she under 5'8"?
Yes, she is under 5'8". And Jesse, it's your question now.
Did this particular wrestler make their name in an overseas promotion for WWE?
No. We have a buzz in from Mike here.
Is it Nikki Cross?
It is not Nikki Cross, no.
Okay, alright.
We're
getting it's hard here.
Welsh, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think Nikki's from Scotland.
She actually just got her bachelor's or master's, I want to say, didn't she?
Yes, she did. I saw that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mike's question, right? Yes.
Oh, yes. Have I had a leave of absence recently?
Yes. Jesse's buzzed in.
Mark, is it Dakota Kai?
It is not Dakota Kai. Steven,
damn it.
Your question.
Does she have blonde hair?
Not typically, no. Jesse, your question then?
The wrestler natively from the United States.
Yes. Mike, your question?
Does her name start with B?
It does not start with B. Steven, your question?
Is this person wrestling in a singlet?
No. I'm going to give you one clue here, and first person to buzz in will probably get the point. So, because it seems like we're floundering a little bit. In 2005, she was in the Feud of the Year, according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Mike's buzzed in.
Lita?
It is Lita, yes. Lita.
Yes, finally. I didn't know she was short.
Yeah,
There we go.
5'6", there you go. Since we just did a question about a female wrestler, we're going to continue on with another question about female wrestlers. In the 1930s, women's wrestling legend Mildred Burke held a record of 10-3 against male competitors. She would later in the same decade start an unprecedented and likely never to be broken championship run. Winning the NWA women's title in 1937, she held it for nearly 20 years until 1956. Her reign as champion is recognized as one of the longest in professional wrestling history. Stevens buzzed in.
You, Mark, the longest unbroken professional wrestling title, not just men's, is Mae Young. She held the women's title for almost 30 years, over 10,000 days.
Oh, that is not what I had wrong with this, but if that's correct, I will give you the point if you found something that is actually incorrect on my question.
WWE brings it up from time to time that Mae Young is the longest reigning champion of all time, even though there was a good 20-year period where she never defended the title at all.
Well, it comes down to just rewriting history, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's you are right. I see 28 years here, so we will. I will give you the point. Mike, you buzzed in.
I think you said it was like 30 men.
She
That
was
she
a record of 10-3.
No, I believe she was known as the one that would wrestle guys, like men, go around, travel around, wrestle men, and beat hundreds of them. It wasn't like a small number, because that's why I thought like she was NWA champion, but she made money wrestling men and was undefeated for like hundreds of guys. It wasn't just 30. So I would say that the incorrect statement there is that she wasn't 30 and one. She was like hundreds of to one or whatever.
You did go on a nice explanation there. I don't remember if you started with you, Mark. I'll leave it up to Jesse. What do you think the correction is here?
You, Mark. She wrestled about 200 men. She only lost one of them.
That is correct. That is verbatim what I have written down here. Yes, she beat like 200 guys and only lost to one of them. And that's back when wrestling was a shoot. So, Jesse, we're going to give you that point there. You know what? You did correct me, and that wasn't an accuracy.
I would say give him the point. That's fair.
I have to give 2 points on that one. That is an error on my part. So, Steven, you have a point there as well. Yeah, she beat like 200 guys. Could you imagine?
Shoot wrestling is wild because I was looking into it because a lot of the Golden Age bodybuilders did shoot wrestling as well. Just because, you're a bodybuilder. What else are you going to do for money? They would be like, oh, yeah, we're going to go out there and wrestle. They pre-discussed who was going to win, and then they just went out there and beat the shit out of each other for 10 or 15 minutes until, that person won.
Moving on to our fifth question. Matches for the ROH Pure Championship are conducted under Pure Wrestling rules. Some of these rules include each wrestler having 3 rope breaks to stop a submission hold or pinfall per each match. Outside interference will result in automatic termination from the roster for the wrestler that interferes. Jesse has buzzed in.
It's not an automatic termination from roster. It's just a DQ for the match.
You did not say you, Mark. Steven has buzzed in. Steven.
You, Mark, it's a DQ, not termination.
No, actually it is termination. I looked the rules up on,
What?
Yeah.
It is termination, yeah.
If you interfere in a pure match, you are just fired.
Fired.
Hold on.
That seems like a cornet rule. I love it.
What?
Yep, you are just straight up.
Wild.
You're just straight up fired. That's a great... I love that. So let me continue. I'm going to start at the top. Matches for the ROH Pure Championship are conducted under Pure Wrestling rules. Some of these rules include each wrestler having 3 rope breaks to stop submission holds and pinfalls per match. Outside interference will result in automatic termination from the roster for the wrestler that interferes. The title can change hands via disqualification and countout, as well as many others. The first ROH Pure Champion was decided in an 8-man tournament, which was won by CM Punk. Jesse has buzzed in.
You mark it wasn't CM Punk that won that.
That is correct, but there is a slightly more correct answer. Jesse, I will give you an opportunity to tell me who won before I go to Mike here, who has buzzed in.
You mark was a Samoa Joe.
That is a great guess, but it was not Samoa Joe. Mike, you did buzz in next. Mike?
You mark it as AJ Styles.
Yes,
Hell.
it was in fact AJ Styles, but immediately AJ Styles had to drop the title. ROH was still working with Rob Feinstein at the time.
Oh, the TNA thing, wasn't it?
Before they pulled the TNA thing. Because he got busted for the shit, so they pulled like a their roster. Yeah, you're right.
On to our 6th question. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes from a family of wrestlers, including his father, Rocky Johnson, grandfather, Peter Maivia. This makes The Rock the WWE's only 3rd-generation wrestler to perform for the promotion. Stevens buzzed in.
You mark, that is incorrect. Jeff Jarrett also was a 3rd-generation wrestler and has wrestled for the WWE.
That is correct, yes. The Rock is definitely not the only 3rd-generation wrestler. Actually, in The Rock's lineage, there's a 4th-generation wrestler, too. So his
daughter.
Yeah, his daughter. All right, on to our second brass ring question of the night. This game is called Comment Section. What I've done is gone to the Reddit Squared Circle page and pulled up a post-pay-per-view report. I have comments from that thread. Your goal, to buzz in correctly and name the pay-per-view. I have 5 statements here. Buzz in at any time. You may have 1 guess per clue. Clue number 1. User Fait Accompli said Sting versus High Jeff Jarrett was a better main event. All right, we'll move on to our next one. User Kane Abel 5 said that was straight up WCW 2000.
I was going to say Sting and WCW 2000. This is not feeling good for Sting right now.
User The Brian J says, this might have honestly been one of the worst pay-per-view finishes I have ever seen. Nobody could be happy about that. An all-time terrible ending. Steven has buzzed in.
Are they talking about the death match in AEW where everything kind of like fizzed, exploded?
That is a great guess. That would have been.
That was a terrible finish.
That is a terrible finish, but no, that is not the terrible finish that these commenters are talking about. But that is a tremendous answer based off of these clues here.
I like the fact that they included that in AEW's Fight Forever game. Like,
yes.
There's the normal finish and there's the historic finish, and they included that as an Easter egg. Like
the sparklers.
They did. They actually included it.
All right, on to our next comment here. User Murdoch129 says Rollins is about to get a 2015 Roman Reigns reaction on Raw. Jesse has buzzed in.
You mark, was it Rollins and Bray Wyatt in the match where it was like the red coated? You know the match I'm talking about. Use
your words. You have to tell me. You have to tell me what the pay-per-view was.
Oh, come.
Steven, you're up.
Was this the Rollins v Sting match at WrestleMania 2015?
It was not the Rollins.
Because I was like, he injured Sting, and that would have got a lot of boos.
That's a good deduction there. Mike, what do you got?
Thank you so much, Jesse. You mark Hell in a Cell 2019 Fiend versus Rollins.
That is correct. It is in fact.
Yeah, it was a terrible match.
The last.
You know how salty I am over this. I'm
so sorry.
In detail, and this asshole doesn't give me the point.
But you said Bray Wyatt, and I'm like, it wasn't. It was the Fiend, and then I immediately went. Then you were like, the red one. I'm like, yeah, it's the Fiend.
That's right.
The Booker Man has screwed me again.
You have to answer the question, which was, what was the pay-per-view? I would have just taken Hell in a Cell as well. What's very funny to me about that, Jesse, is you named everything, but you were like, they were in the big red cube thingy with...
You named everything but the Hell in the Cell part.
But the Hell in the Cell.
Because they did it might as well have not even been a freaking Hell in the Cell match. Are you kidding me? They violated like every rule of Hell in the Cell. Like, why is there a DQ in Hell in the Cell?
I love the fact that Hell in a Cell, they were like, we watched Mankind.
A
table
gets thrown 2 stories into a fucking table. He gets thrown out of the top of the fucking cage, practically kills himself. Nothing.
Just like,
Our 7th question of the night. The Grand Slam of WWE, which has been accomplished by legends of wrestling such as Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, and Daniel Bryan. The title is earned by winning one of Mike's buzzed in. Mike?
You mocked The Undertaker isn't a Grand Slam champion.
That is correct. The Undertaker is not a Grand Slam champion.
He's not, yeah.
I was going to say, he never won the Intercontinental or, like,
yeah.
US,
yeah.
It's like, now that I think about it, I'm like, The Undertaker was always in the main event. He never had any kind of mid-card belt run, even though I think Badass Taker should have had a U.S. title run, because him coming out on the motorcycle to I Am American Badass with the U.S. title would have been a very hard image.
Dust off your American history books, folks. We're going back in time again. Though the powerbomb is a standard wrestling move seen weekly on television, the move's origin in the wrestling world comes from the early Americas. One of the first recorded instances of the move was done by future President Abraham Lincoln. Steven has buzzed in.
Mark, it was a suplex.
It was not a suplex, but you have identified what is wrong with this statement. I will give you another opportunity to guess if the other two guess incorrectly. Jesse, you have buzzed in.
Mark, it wasn't a powerbomb, it was a body slam?
It was not a body slam. Mike, do you care to guess?
Trying to think of what would be a common thing you do to someone in a shoot fight. It was a DDT.
I love the thought of Abraham Lincoln hitting a DDT. Keep in mind that Abraham Lincoln was a very tall man. Steven has buzzed in.
Mark, it was a bear hug, his move that he was known for.
So you have identified a thing about Abraham Lincoln that he did do a bear hug, but what we're speaking specifically about is the first recorded instance of a specific move. Mike, go ahead.
You said he was tall?
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln was pretty tall.
Okay, what?
Mark
was a chokeslam?
That is correct. Yes, the first.
What? What?
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. The first recorded instance of a chokeslam was done by Abraham Lincoln. There was a news article written at the time that stated that a young Abraham Lincoln lifted his opponent by his neck one-handed and then slammed him to the ground.
People talk about snowflakes and stuff as American presidents. Man, imagine that. Like, him versus The Rock, if Rock ever actually ran, million pay-per-view buys easy.
This was after a wrestling match. I'm the big buck of this lick. If any of you want to try it, come on and wet your horns.
Wow, that's like a straight-up promo. Could you imagine getting beat up by this big, lanky shopkeeper, and then he cuts that promo on you? Good Lord.
No. Imagine him just throwing women over his shoulder and taking him with him because he's such a fucking, like, I'm the president, baby.
He's banging all the rats at that point.
He was 301 as well. He only lost one match in his entire wrestling career. He was 301.
And who did he lose it to? Where did he lose it? He lost it at the theater.
John Wilkes Booth, man. You know what? That actually makes sense why John Wilkes Booth jumped from the theater balcony. You're like, man, I shot him, but I'm not trying to get anywhere near him right now. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States, passed the Emancipation Proclamation and inventor of the chokeslam. You don't teach that in AP American history. On to our 9th question of the game. Video game WWE Smackdown Shut Your Mouth, a PlayStation exclusive, included not only an impressive roster of over 30 superstars, it also featured one of the largest collection of matches in any WWE game at the time. Matches such as Casket, I Quit, and Iron Man matches brought the WWE action to your home. Mike has buzzed in. Mike?
There wasn't a casket match in Shut Your Mouth?
That is correct. There was not a casket match in Shut Your Mouth.
Yeah, I love that game.
Now, on to our last brass ring question of the night. This game is called Bad Creative. I have 5 badly explained wrestling gimmicks. Your goal is to buzz in and tell me which wrestler I am talking about. Our first question. An arson victim who hates his brother. Jesse's buzzed in. Jesse?
Mark, that's Kane?
That is Kane, yes. On to our second clue. Evil hairstylist. Jesse's buzzed in again.
Mark, Brutus the Barber Beefcake?
That's correct. Bruce the Barber Beefcake.
Was he evil? Wait, was he actually heel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge heel. On to our third clue. Literal dinosaur. Jesse's buzzed in again.
You mark, is it Luchasaurus?
It is Luchasaurus. That is correct.
Yeah.
Love that. Just a real dinosaur. On to our fourth clue. Horny strong guy. Steven's buzzed in. Steven.
Ravishing Rick Rude.
That is incorrect. Mike has buzzed in.
Who is Big E Langston?
You know, I cannot speak to the horniness of Big E Langston, but I can say that is not his gimmick. You might have been confused with hip gyration. I understand. Jesse has buzzed in.
You mark, is it Joey Ryan?
No, and we will never. We won't bring him up. He's just a sex pest. It'll never.
Sorry. I mean, you talked about like horny guy. I mean.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. I totally get that. Steven, I think you buzzed in there.
Yeah, you mark, is it Otis?
It is not Otis. That is a great guess, though.
He was real horny for Mandy Rose, and then he'd be doing those hip thrusts.
Yes, but there is somebody, when I say it, you're going to go, oh. Jesse's buzzed in. Jesse?
You mark, is it Rhino?
That's good. I like that. That was good. I think we're kind of floundering here, so if no one has another guess, I'm just going to move on to the next one. That's Mark Henry, sexual chocolate.
Oh!
There you go. On to our last clue. Racist investment banker? Mike's buzzed in.
You mark JVL?
It is JVL, yes. That is right.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions about the racism, well, we could just point to that pre-tape where he was chasing down Hispanic people at the border.
The border. It's crazy.
On to our last question, and as we know here, the last question of you, Mark, is about a different type of art. Now, we know professional wrestling is an art form, but let's test our contestants' knowledge about what people will consider traditional art. Italian Renaissance painter Leonardo da Vinci spent approximately 4 years painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. The expansive fresco depicts various scenes of the Old Testament, including the creation of Adam and Eve and the fall of man. Jesse is buzzed in.
You mark, it's actually him meeting with the hand of God. It's like him touching the hand of God.
Yes, that is the creation of Adam and the fall of man. So that's what that is referencing. That part is correct. There is an inaccuracy here, though. Steven's buzzed in.
You mark, it took him way more than 4 years.
No, it actually.
It was only 4 years?
That's what I read. It was only 4 years. Jesse's buzzed in. Jesse.
You mark. Wait, it wasn't Da Vinci. It was Michelangelo.
That is correct. It was Michelangelo.
Hey, there it is.
A fun fact about the painting up there. One of the bishops at the time was complaining about how long it was taking, how much stuff was there. So Michelangelo painted him in there getting tortured by demons. Those men are long dead, but that man getting tortured by demons is being taken pictures of by hundreds of thousands of people a year.
But I just like the fact that to have that kind of skill and also that kind of level of pettiness to be like, I painted you getting attacked by the demons. Get out of my face, Mr. Bishop man.
They didn't know until he finished it.
Okay,
I love the accent too. That's very Santino.
Yeah, that's who I was channeling for sure. But like, can you imagine being the bishop going in there and looking up and being like, "Oh,
theater."
That is our game today." Jesse has 3, Steven has 2, and our winner Mike with 6 points tonight. That makes you the smartest of marks, and your wrestling opinion holds sway with the masses now. So, Mike, give me your wrestling hot take, because whatever you say about professional wrestling has to be true at this point.
CM Punk was right.
I just threw my headset over that.
And when you win, you get to tell the wrestling world how it is. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on our episode tonight. We look forward to having you back next week. Good night, everybody.